and they know a lot more than we do right now. And technology laws, just like I said, they're progressing faster than we are in the world of technology. So since they're using the new technologies, they can make things a lot cheaper than we can. With job loss, it's estimated that within the next 10 years, over $136 billion for wages are going to be sent overseas. So we could be making that money in the US, but instead we're going to be paying someone else to do it for us. And an estimated 14 million jobs are at risk right now. 14 million people could possibly lose their job in the next 10 years because we're going to send it overseas instead of keeping it in the US. This is just a quick chart on some of the job loss. The blue line is the 1990 recession, and we are in a recession right now, in case you haven't heard. And it shows the job loss and how it went back up. This is the 2001 recession, the red line, and it went back up after a while. It dropped a little lower than the 1990. This is our current recession. We're dropping down faster than they did in 1990 and in 2001. And right now it's not looking like we're going back up yet. And this is job loss, and a big part of that is due to outsourcing. Secondary effects, when people lose their jobs, they can't pay bills, they can't do anything else. So they're losing their homes, and I like to think that my home is a really big part of my life. I like to go home to it every night. So a big part of losing your job is your home can be put up for foreclosure. A lot of the places, if you go around any lake, right now people who have had second homes are getting foreclosed on their lake houses, or they just have to sell it because they're going to get foreclosed on their actual house if they don't start getting rid of properties and extra things that aren't necessary. Other secondary effects, homelessness, that comes after the foreclosure, and bridge cards right now. My mom works at the DHS office in Mount Pleasant, and they hand out bridge cards. A lot of them go to college kids, but a big part of the bridge cards, it's part of the welfare system. So when you lose your job, you get unemployment, you go on welfare, you get the bridge cards because you can't afford to buy groceries. And it's basically, they estimate how many assets you have and how much you are making if you have unemployment. They figure that all in, and they determine how much money they can give you so you can afford to buy food for your family. So a lot of people have bridge cards right now, and you see signs all over now that say, we accept bridge cards or we accept EBT cards. They're the same thing. So when you see one of those signs, it's for people that are on welfare. My solution is we need to have tax breaks for the companies that don't outsource any of their contracts. Companies that, like construction companies, they don't outsource where they get their wood from, they don't outsource who does their electricity. You give a tax break to any company that stays completely within the US, and you increase taxes on exporting what they're outsourcing out to other countries, and then when they import the products back in after they make it in a different country, you need to increase those taxes because it'll promote businesses to stay inside the US. And government projects, I think it should be mandatory that all government projects, their contracts should stay within the US. We should not be paying, our government should not be paying another country to be doing our things for us. We need to go with American contractors. If we're building a new building, we need to stick with contractors. The construction crews, the electric crews, all of them that are in the US, and keep all of their things in the US. I think it should be mandatory. And guest worker visas, they hand these out to different people who come to the US, and usually right now it's the electrical and technological people. They're coming, engineering, they're coming to the US and bringing information that they know, and they're learning more from us. But when they leave, because they usually have a time limit, I think it's about 6 months, when they leave, they take all the information that they have with them, and they take some of our jobs with them too, because we're teaching them how to do it, and we could be doing it. And instead, when we teach them how to do it, we're going to send them back, and then we're going to send our business back with them. So I think the number of guest worker visas needs to be lowered. We need to stop accepting them into it and stop raising the number, because right now they're raising the number. And that way we keep it all American. And as you guys can see just from looking at your t-shirts, they come from all over. And I would be very surprised if we have an American-made t-shirt in the room, because just between my mom and I, we had 3 different buyers on 3 different shirts last night. And I really think outsourcing is a big problem in the U.S. today, and it would really benefit our economy to stay within American-made products. And hopefully you guys do too, because I kind of want a job when I get older that'll last. Any questions?
Very informative.